guest is Lynn Cowell.
Keep your weapon at your side.
We start comparing ourselves to other girls, and somehow we feel like we don't measure up.
Convictions must be strong. Pierce the darkness with the light as you go along. Living with one foot in heaven, breaking the enemy's power. In the strength of Jesus we can stand in the darkest hour. Living with one foot in heaven, ready when he calls our name. For believers to live is Christ, to die is only gain.
Welcome to Heritage of Truth. Today our guest is Lynn Cowell. She is a speaker with Proverbs 31, and she's an author. And today we're going to be talking about her book, His Revolutionary Love, Jesus' Radical Pursuit of You. Now you have a ministry to women, obviously, and also to teen girls.
Right, I do conferences for both. My conferences for teen girls are based on my book, and the book and the conferences are created to create confidence in girls, to raise their self-esteem, which helps them to make wise decisions.
Yeah, that's important. Well, why do girls today try so hard to be somebody they're not? Why can't they just be themselves?
Well, I think they get caught up in the comparison game, just like we do as women. We start comparing ourselves to other girls, and somehow we feel like we don't measure up. And so, especially on things like Facebook, where you can fake it and pretend to be something you're not. You can edit pictures to make you look more pretty, or you can exaggerate what you're doing on the weekend. It makes it a lot easier to fake who you are.
Well, why do you think they want to do that?
I think, again, it goes back to that lack of self-esteem, that lack of understanding who they were created to be. And that's why the more that we can pour into girls the truth of how Jesus sees them, that he, like in Psalms 45:11, it says that the king is enthralled by your beauty. If they can get that, that will fill that need, that love gap that's inside of their heart. That is what the poor self-esteem comes from.
Yeah, so what they're really needing is God-esteem.
Exactly.
Instead of self-esteem.
Right.
Yeah, wow. Well, in this faking Facebook phenomenon, is that mostly with girls who are not Christians, or is it with Christian girls too?
I have seen it in both, because I think in some ways the church and the women in the church and the moms in the church, we've dropped the ball a little bit. In that maybe it's because we ourselves don't understand how crazy Jesus is about us, but we're failing to put that truth into our girls. So I see that both in church girls and in unchurched girls.
Wow. Well, some things never change when it comes to teen girls, the popularity contest being one of them. What do you say to the girl who's working so hard to make sure she's part of the popular crowd?
Well, in order to be a part of something, usually that means you have to give up something else. And so that might be giving up her faith, it might be her purity, and most of all, a lot of times, it's that unique part of her personality that Christ gave her as an individual. And so I try to encourage girls that if you have one or two true friends that you can trust, that believe the same thing you do and are heading in the same direction, that is really a lot better situation than surrounding yourself with people that you can't be yourself with.
Well, when you can't be yourself with somebody, they're not really your friends.
That's right.
A lot of girls, even as young as 12, struggle with not having a boyfriend.
That's true.
My goodness, how does HRL, his revolutionary love, help the girl who sees her value diminished because she doesn't have a boyfriend?
Well, unfortunately, in our society, boy plus girl equals value. Whether it's movies or song, we're always coming up with these lines that say, he completes me. And so a girl thinks that if a boy doesn't like me, there must be something wrong with me. And that is so not true. A lot of times it has more to do with maturity level, or more importantly, that you're different people. And so again, what we need to teach our daughters is there's only one who can complete you, and that's Jesus. He created you to need him to be completed.
That's right. Statistics show that 46% of high school students have had sexual intercourse, and each year approximately 19 million new STD infections occur. Almost half of them are among youth ages 15 to 24. Right? So how can a girl best guard herself from becoming another statistic? And I don't mean not getting an STD.
Yeah, exactly. Well, one thing that I try to teach girls is the best way that you can protect yourself is by keeping parts of your heart a secret. You know, on Facebook especially, there is this drive to expose every part of you, to talk about everything you do and talk about all of your feelings. What I try to teach a girl is that by keeping some of your parts of your heart a secret, that you protect yourself. And if you protect your heart, you'll ultimately protect your body as well. You know, when a girl exposes every part of her heart, to me it's like being caught out in a snowball fight without gloves. You know, they're vulnerable, they're exposed, and if you don't spend the rest of your life with that man, that leaves you in a place where you're really, really vulnerable.
And without the commitment of that man, you know, saying through marriage that I'm going to spend the rest of my life with you, what do you have left to give to your spouse when you do get married?
You know, that's the saddest part, is I think so many women are walking into these marriages really wounded and really not with a lot of their heart left to give, because they've given it over and over and over again.
And that's not the way God made us to be.
Not at all.
He made us to have one man for life.
Right.
Yeah. As parents, it's often frightening to see our girls repeating some of the behaviors that we did, because they seem too needy. Why is it okay to be needy?
Well, I try to teach girls that it's okay to be needy because God created us to be needy. And ultimately, that is so that we will seek Him to fill that place in our heart. A guy was never created, God never created men to be able to complete women. He is the one who does that. And so from as early on as possible, if we can teach our daughters and the girls in the church that only God can complete you and that you are needy for a reason, I really think that that will help them to be able to make wise choices down the road about relationships.
Yeah. And just think of that incredible love relationship that we can have with the Lord, even as young children. And
Absolutely.
That is so fulfilling. I think that would help fill that empty space, and then they wouldn't need this.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Why does the issue of mean girls seem to be a constant problem in our culture? I've never understood it. Even as a child, when the mean girls were coming after me, I never understood why.
Well, recently I've decided that mean girls come from mean mamas. Me and my daughters were standing in line to go to a concert this summer, and it was really hot out, and I noticed that a lot of the girls that were going by were just dressed so immodestly. And so I would make a comment, you know, I can't believe she's comfortable wearing that, or why would her mom let her out in public dressed that way? And my daughter said to me, Mom, you are judging just about every girl that walks by. And as soon as she said that, my heart was pricked, and I knew that what she was saying was true. And so I've come to the conclusion, mean girls come from mean mamas because we teach them to compare themselves to other women because we compare ourselves. We teach them to judge because we judge our neighbor when they run over the flowers by our mailbox. They're watching us constantly and all the time. And if we, as moms, begin to demonstrate compassion and mercy and acceptance, I believe that that can become the new norm.
Yes, absolutely. It's great insight. Well, what are some of the other free added values you offer to youth leaders and parents who want to use his revolutionary love to teach their girls what true love is?
Well, one of the things that I created is a free small group guide. When I started mentoring teen girls, my kids were 10, 8, and 6. So I didn't know anything at all about how I was supposed to invest in these girls who I knew needed investing in. And so I created this free guide that's on my website. It's at lynncowell.com. You just click on freebies.
And Lynn is Lynn.
Cowell.
Okay.
And this guide will teach you how to bring up questions. There's conversation starters. So it takes the whole intimidation factor out of, investing in your girl.
Yeah, and it's so important for us to invest in our children. And God gave the job of raising the children to the parents, not to the schools, not to the television or the other media or video games or Twitter and Facebook. He gave it to the parents, and it's that's our responsibility. And I really applaud you for what you're doing to help mothers and girls as their mothers are trying to raise their children, and girls are trying to find their way in the world. So thank you for being our guest, and I pray that your ministry will grow and that many, many girls will be helped by what you're doing.
Great. Thank you so much.
For believers to live